Hello, everyone. Meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. All smiles. It's been a big day and a beautiful one at that. I hope you had fun out there because the weather was delightful for many of us. But big time changes are in the offing. Hutch has a hunch. We've been talking about it since last week. And I want to make sure you know before anywhere else what the real deal is with this particular storm. I'll have Hutch's hunch on it right now. Your first look at this system with the latest model runs right now.
Now, a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
All right, everyone. A special thanks to my friends at Robert Gibb and Sons for sponsoring Hutch's Weather. Thank you very, very much. And thanks to each and every one of you. I hope your day was outstanding. How about them Minnesota football Vikings getting a big W today? And well, my Broncos getting a big W today as I was rooting them on strong. Now let's take a look at what we have going on across the region. There's some big time changes taking place, and I thought I would start out with a look at the radar, and we'll go right into what's going on. Now, last week, if you joined me, we talked about this storm system taking shape in the deep south, and that's what's going on now. Now, the low pressure system down here wreaking havoc with snow in the mountains off to the south and to the west of Albuquerque. Heavy rain there and some strong thunderstorms working their way through places toward places like Midland, Texas. Moving into Lubbock right now, and these heavy bands of showers and storms are working through with a lot of rain. Look at the Metroplex, I should say, Dallas-Fort Worth. Showers and thunderstorms in and around that metro area heading into the evening hours. This storm system is lifting and it's coming our way. Models are in more agreement now. And the bottom line is this. We have an increased chance at seeing winter storm conditions here in the Dakotas, particularly North Dakota. Will they hit the Red River Valley? That's still to be determined. There's still some things that will get ironed out, but models are certainly showing more agreement in this. Brian, thanks for joining me. You're a weather enthusiast. Thank you. Let me know where you're watching from. Brian Curtis watching from Caldwell, Idaho. And we'll take a look too. And if you hang with me, we'll get to the details on what's going on there, because this Pacific Northwest is going to see wave after wave of not only wintry, but wet weather as well. And if you're in different parts of Idaho, from Pocatello on the north side and particularly out towards Missoula, Montana, it's going to be pretty flaky out there. Joining from Arkansas is Brian. Good to have you on as well. I hope you are doing good. And go Razorbacks. Right. Okay. Hi. Living in northern Illinois, Aurora, Illinois. All right. Good to have you on board. Thanks, Deborah, for watching. And 798 Welder Girl watching from Clearbrook, Minnesota. And it's good to have all of you on board. Thanks for signing in. Let me know. I'll continue to try to answer questions for those of you watching on Facebook. I do want to tell you and share with you this. I'd love for all of you to hit the like buttons on these, because then these platforms share them to more people. And I'd love for you to tag people, particularly on Facebook or wherever you are. Share the video if you can and let people know what's coming our way, because we will have some wintry weather making its way into the Rocky Mountains north, and the system in Texas now is heading right up into the northern plains. It is going to bring some much needed moisture to much of the central plain states. Once we get into parts of Iowa, Minnesota, and the Dakotas, there's some areas with extreme drought going on. So we'll take the moisture, whether it's white or whether it's wet. That's right. Let's get to the forecast. And to do that, I'm going to sneak over here and show you a good old friend model, the American model. But I want to show you this. This is really kind of a cool way to look at it. It's more of a hemispheric view, and you can really see these waves. So let's get right down to it. And if you have a question, drop it over here. I'll try to look on. Nostalgia Picker watching from Holly. Good to have you on board as well. Thanks for watching. Let me see over here. Now let's get over to the details on this model guidance, shall we? Now this is the American model. There's 4 models. I won't go through all of them tonight, but I will say this. We're going to look over here shortly, the snowfall potential. Now you're probably seeing things all over the place, whether it's a local television station or even right here on streaming media. Folks posting pictures of computer model output and saying it's the forecast. It's not. It's called model guidance. And as a meteorologist for the better part of 30 years and teaching it in the college classroom for the better part of 20 years, I can tell you there's a lot of uncertainty yet in the forecast. After all, if you've ever seen your favorite meteorologist miss the forecast maybe for tomorrow, yeah, we still have some trouble. So here's your hemispheric view. You can see the waves in the atmosphere on this global model, the American model. One of the things that we'll take a look at here with regards to this system is, let's go ahead and step through time here on this one. Now, you're going to see the storm systems out of the Pacific Northwest and off the Aleutians continue to bring wave and wave of storms heading into northern parts of California and the Pacific Northwest. It looks very unsettled as we go through the remainder of the month. Now, as these storm systems move across the Rocky Mountain chain and into the Central Plains, it means wave after wave of rain and snow potential as we head through the last one half of this month. So that's one thing. Now let's get down to business with the storm system at hand. And again, if you have a question, let me know. Janet OB, hello, Hutch. Think Tuesday will be near blizzard conditions for some parts of Manitoba. Yes, I will say that yes is a statement to behold, because blizzards are a key term meteorologists like to really reserved for only the worst of storms. But a definition of a blizzard, if I get through my pages here, let's go ahead and look. Page 27B. Okay, so meteorologists have specific definitions, and the basics are this: heavy snow combined with wind, reducing visibility. Heavy snow, reducing visibility to a mile or less, and the winds have to be 35 miles per hour or greater for 3 hours time or more. That's a blizzard. Now, we can have things like snow squalls. This system, as it makes its way northward, is going to bring some of the heaviest snow in Saskatchewan and your area, Manitoba. So let's keep that in mind. So there will be a chance for heavy snow. What's heavy snow? The meteorological definition of that in the northern plains here where I am, not necessarily at the peak of a mountain in Colorado. Heavy snow is not 8 inches for you. But here in the northern plains, anything over 8 inches. So if we're expecting 8 inches or more of snow in our area, that can really cripple the area, and it comes with wind. So we'll analyze all of that right here. Thanks for your question. It's a good one, Roxanne. Good to see you from Edmore. Thank you for watching. You missed the snow. Well, some of us will have a chance at it. Now, what we're going to notice with the systems that move in from the Pacific Northwest, mountains of Idaho will get smacked with some good snow potential as we head into the day tomorrow. And this system will lift out of the southern plains and work its way into the central plains. So for most of our Monday through 6 o'clock at night, this system lifts from Oklahoma up north. See this line here on the cold front? That's where we could have stout or severe thunderstorm potential. I talked about this last week on Friday, and indeed it's come to fruition in parts of West Texas today. And now, this system will bring very wet weather, beneficial rain to places like southern Minnesota, eastern Minnesota, much of Wisconsin getting heavy rain, as is the case for Iowa, the Dakotas, mainly eastern South Dakota at this point. Now, as we head to bed on Monday night, this system moves its way out toward the east and north. And as it does so, we'll start to see the coldest of the air on the west side of the system in the Big Sky country of Montana. And if you're in the Big Sky country of Montana, you'll see another round of snow after several inches took place on Saturday. Here's another round for you, and the oil patch of North Dakota will see snow first. Because you see snow first and because it lasts longest, watch this, set it into motion, 6 a.m. This is really into your Tuesday morning, not snow yet, but it's starting to transition to snow in parts of eastern North Dakota. So the Devil's Lake Basin, right down the James River Valley, seeing so. Look how quiet things are across the western half of the United States. Here's the strong to severe potential as we head into the day on the 19th. So that's going to bring us with that chance as we go through Tuesday of seeing strong storms shifting to the southeast United States, all from the same system. Isn't that wild? Isn't that wacky? Okay, other questions? Thanks for dining. Chime in with a question if you have one. I'll look on the Facebook page here because I have a lot of followers there. Brian, thanks for sharing. Debbie, thank you for watching. It's a pleasure to have you on from Hannaford. We're also seeing Rita and Bemidji. Hey, tell Babe the Blue Ox Hutch says howdy. And you know what? I had to shed the flannel for a day to root my team on. Thanks, Corey. I really appreciate the love. And Todd, thank you very much. A few of you, by the way, on Facebook have asked, Hutch, how come I cannot give stars anymore? Usually in the comment button there next to where you see where you can add a comment, there's a little star there and you can click on that and make a contribution to Hutch and help support me. I don't know what has happened to it. It's just not on. It hasn't been there. It is on any reels that I make, and it still works for videos that I post up that are not lives like this. But you know me, I like to go live. I've been doing weather live for the better part of 30 years. So why would I tape it and put it up there? I still do that from time to time because I can get the point across with the tape just as easily, but It's always good to answer your questions in this live format. Watching from Bakersfield, California, my Aunt Judy lives in Bakersfield, California. Judy, if you're watching, thank you for everything you do. You're one special auntie to me. And Maxine, thanks for checking in. I sure appreciate you watching. And you know what? Bakersfield, California, Northern California will be kind of on that edge of seeing many of these waves moving off of the Pacific Ocean over the next few days. Okay, back to our storm system. Heading into the morning on the 19th, that's your Tuesday, the snow will be most likely and persistent out in the western and central Dakotas where it lasts throughout the day. This low pressure system is set to park right about here in eastern parts of North Dakota and western parts of Minnesota. If that does happen and it parks here for a while, it's going to bring some snow. Now take a look at this, Manitoba. If you are in Winnipeg out here, you're smack dab diddly doodly right in the middle of the mayhem. The flakes are flying Winkler to Winnipeg all the way out to Dolphin and out to Saskatoon and Regina, Estevan. You'll be seeing periods of wind and snow. So the strong north winds and the snow that will be heavy will be most likely across most of the southern prairies of Manitoba and Saskatchewan. And of course, central and portions of eastern North Dakota. Look at snow just getting started as we go into the 19th in the afternoon. That's northwest Minnesota. A chance for some flakes. If it begins that early, watch how long this system sticks around. Wednesday morning, it's still here. And it does wrap up as we get into the late afternoon hours. But look at Winnipeg, look at Winkler, look at Dauphin. So anybody in the northern counties, you'll be closer to where this system is going to be really making the snow. It's really going to make the flake bake up in the Northland, up there north of the international border. But for us, we're going to have snow and wind combined with the system. So that's that. Now, do I have your attention? Hey, Brian, thank you for the kind comments. I appreciate it. Take anything in the numbers yet? Let's see. Steve is asking, take anything in the numbers yet? I will talk numbers here with snowfall potential very, very shortly. See anything from 2 to 4 inches, Steve says? Yes, I see a lot more than that for some, potentially, particularly Manitoba and Saskatchewan. Okay, and Mike Salinas, you're sharing, Jennifer, thank you for passing this along and sharing with your friends and tagging friends. So that really does help me out. Good evening from Crookston, Sarah says. Okay, a couple things to keep in mind here as we take just a little bit of a time out. Still snowing. 6 a.m. on the 20th, folks. That's Wednesday. This system will continue to work its way through the region. And let me get this back up in front and center here so I can step through time. We'll see it continues to snow, but lightly, as this system weakens a little bit here and works its way out. Meanwhile, West Coast, here comes another system for you as we go into your Wednesday night. That's right. The mountains of, well, the Bitterroots of Montana, western parts of Idaho, and also if you're in anywhere in the high country from Oregon State to Washington State, a good chance of seeing that. And look at Northern California there. Speaking of Bakersfield, let's get right on down there. Eureka, there's Sacramento, Carson City, Reno, Nevada, the elevated terrain outside of Eureka, seeing some good snow. But look at this. If you're in the Great Lakes area, this same storm system that brings the snow to the Dakotas will start to re-energize, and it's going to start mingling with the warm waters of the Great Lakes. That means there's going to be some downwind snow that we like to call lake effect, and there's going to be some bands of moderate to heavy snow potential in parts of Michigan. And also, once we get off of Erie and Ontario lakes, you're going to start to see these streaming bands set up, as always is the case, upstate New York. And this system could sit there and spin for a few days. Are you kidding me? Okay, now this is really far out there. I'm not going to spend any more time than just what you're going to see here before we get to the details on this storm here. But let's go ahead and spin this clock forward, shall we? You're looking at the 23rd. There's a big holiday coming up called Thanksgiving, and Thanksgiving looks unsettled. So here's another wave of weekend snowflakes for the northern plains, with another wave moving through according to the American model. It could be wrong. This could be a mistrack. Then here's one moving out of the mountains of northern parts of California. And look at this one. It's going to whack Colorado, or potentially so, and head through the central plains. And the date is the 26th. Huge travel day. The 26th is a Tuesday before Thanksgiving. And if this storm comes to fruition, well, then we could have us some travel concerns as we head into the holiday weekend, because look where this one goes. Whoop! right into the Great Lakes, from Minneapolis, St. Paul, right through Madison, Wisconsin to Green Bay. And I got to tell you what, even out towards upstate New York, with showers, thunderstorms in the central and southern plains of potential with that system, way far out. I'm not going to even entertain the idea of how much snow. But then look at this. Another one? Are you kidding me? What this means is Hutch sees this hunch. This hunch is for a much more active weather pattern over the next 2 weeks to close out the month. These waves rolling off the Pacific Northwest mingle with the Rocky Mountains, create new waves, and they move out onto the plains. And they'll bring us some change, some much needed moisture for some. Dean says, watching from Maddox, thank you very, very much. It's a pleasure to have you on board right now. And as we take a look, Todd says, going to Oklahoma Wednesday from Roseau. That is one long bicycle ride. So if you're looking at Wednesday from Roseau, which is way up here, what is it, like 9 miles, 11 miles from the international border right there, and you're heading down to Oklahoma, well, you're going to drive through some rain. So you're leaving on Wednesday. So it does look like some snow potential will be right up here in that Roseau area of northwest Minnesota. Let me dial the clock back on this if you're talking about this Wednesday, and that would be Wednesday the 20th. So we'll pop this on the 20th. And if you're leaving bright and early in the morning, we still have this system rocking and rolling in our area. So once you get south, you're going to drive through flakes and some leftover snow. Hopefully our road crews in Minnesota have roads taken care of for you. You get on 29. Once you get south of the Sisseton Hills, things should start being a little bit nicer with regards to snowfall pack and maybe that icy road potential. You're going to have a tailwind, so that's good news for your gas mileage, right? North winds backside, put that puppy in cruise control when you're off the ice. Don't put on cruise control on the ice, okay? It looks like the roads between there and Oklahoma, very, very good all the way through the early part of the weekend, even well into the upcoming weekend ahead, while the Northern Plains sees another whack making its way through. You're not touched by that system in Oklahoma at that point. So that's an answer to your question, Todd. Thank you very much. Okay, what can we expect in Mentor? Let's go over snowfall. Are you ready for snowfall? If you're ready, let me know you're still watching, and we'll go over this. Otherwise, I'll post this as a separate video a little bit later, but that's what we all want to know. What is the potential for snowfall? Keep in mind, we're going to look at 4 models fairly quickly. We're going to compare what's alike and what's different. Most of the models have a similar track and timing, but they do differ in snowfall potential. This time of the year, that can vary greatly depending on where the bands of heavier snow set up. 2 things to keep in mind. This is snowfall potential, and it's not a forecast. That's thing 1. Thing 2, these models are all more global in scale. That means that the grids that we use to make these forecasts in the models is a lot wider. And what that means is it tends to blow or overblow the aerial coverage of heavy snow. It's usually, when it's all said and done and after the storm is gone, we don't see 12 inches over a huge area or a huge region. It's usually a narrow band with those heavier amounts. So let's keep that in mind. Dean, thank you for watching. Okay, let me drop a hello in here to all of my friends watching here on the YouTube channel. I'd love to have you hit the subscribe button there. It's a pleasure to have you watching on YouTube on my channel there. So thank you very much. Let me know if you prefer watching Hutch there or if you prefer watching me on Facebook. What's your preference? Tell me on your platform where you are watching from and what platform you like watching from. Thanks for sharing. Debbie, thank you for watching. VFR not recommended. Dana, you are that one pilot person who likes to know this stuff, and that's right. That's not a good idea when we get into this foggy, soupy type of weather that we have coming up here. Not the best for piloting across the area over the next 36 hours. Corey, thank you so much for your kind words on Facebook. Now, let's talk a little bit. Okay, so you saw the unsettled pattern that takes us right through Thanksgiving and the close of the month. So that's something to keep in mind, and I'll keep you up to date with that. But now let's get right to the details on, snowfall. 4 models. Canadian model, look at all that red. The red is the heavier snow. The German model, one that I haven't had a lot of experience with over the last several years, but recently I've been watching it, and there's times it's done a reasonably good job. Look at the similarities. The Canadian model says heavier snow because there's more purple in there and there's more other colors, and the German model says, So if I zoom in here, we can see heavier snow bands, north central North Dakota, a little enhancement of snowfall potentially near the Sisseton Hills. Don't look at the numbers. They're not meaningless, but they are something not to really focus on at this point. Now, as you look at the German model, same same orientation and a similar timing to the storm, and really similar with some snowfall potential here in the Southern Valley. It does not show much of anything as we look into northwest Minnesota, worth noting. Now let's look at the European model behind my melon here, and you'll see a very similar song and dance. Most of the heavier snow north of Interstate 94 and along the international border. And if you happen to be in Canada, you're a winner on all the models if you consider being a winner digging out of deep and fluffy flakes of snow. All right, now let's check out this other model up top, the American model, and that's the one we just looked at the model at, showing that mainly rain in the southern part of North Dakota, but still a chance for some snow very close to the Fargo area with this system that could accumulate into northwest Minnesota, and again, the big winners along and north of Interstate 94. That's 4 models. Let's take a look at each one closely. German model says, really, here's what Hutch wants you to keep in mind when you're looking at these models. If you like to weather nerd like me, then what you want to do is take a look at these and say, this might be a range that's reasonable, particularly if we start seeing multiple models dial in on the same range. That's good. But like I was saying on the onset, it tends to overblow the aerial coverage of the snowfall. So in this model, where it's saying there might be just a little bit of snow, there may be very little to none, okay? And there'll be a narrower band of the heavy snow through somewhere along Highway 2 up into parts of Manitoba and Saskatchewan, Estevan, and out towards Winkler and Brandon, Manitoba. Look at Winnipeg gets missed on this German model. I'm not so sure I buy the German model, but that's what that one shows. Excuse me. Taking a look at the European model. Now, here's Interstate 94. Fargo. That says 4.6. Does that mean Fargo's definitely getting 4.6? No. Does it mean Fargo could see measurable snow? Yes. Okay, so there is a yes from the European model here. The valleys, same thing. Northwest Minnesota, not as much. Get into central Minnesota, and we see a rapid decrease in snowfall potential. Here's one of the reasons why I like this. The European model tends to be a little more consistent on 3 days out and beyond with its forecast. It has wavered in the forecast from model run to model run, but what I do like about this is this system's going to come with the southeast air. That's warm air, warm, humid air, and it really doesn't run into the cold stuff. So the better chance of the heaviest snow in my gut, Hutch's hunch, is going to be in the western part of the Dakotas and our northern tier of counties, and there will be colder air drawing in on the western side. So James River Valley, Devil's Lake Basin, and then a pretty rapid decline. Could we see a band of heavier snow that does form somewhere close to the Southern Valley? Yet to be seen, but at least this model shows that there is the potential for that. Now, you heard me use the term winter storm. Deborah's got the coffee out watching. I've got my glass of water. Let me take a sip. Okay. All right, and then you got to take a look at the other models here, the last couple, and then we'll take a look at, oh my goodness, the Canadian model. And you know what? Our Canadian neighbors, they know how to forecast snow, right? They live with quite a bit of it. This thing has model ranges from 1 foot to 1.5 feet of snow in places. Look how close it is to Bottineau up here. You get into the Rolla area, you get into Towner County, and this thing gets a little bit crazy with snowfall over 1 foot in places. Look at Devil's Lake, 13.8 inches. Is Hutch worried about 13 inches of snow over this widespread of an area? Look how widespread that is. No, I don't think it's going to look anything like this. Could we see a narrow band with potential of 1 foot of snow? I do believe it's possible because a couple of models have had amounts this high. This is the highest. Doesn't mean this is Hutch's forecast just because it's the highest. Look at that, 7 inches for Fargo. That would open our eyes, wouldn't it? So Hutch went outside and tuned up the old snowblower today. And if we all do this together and great minds think alike, maybe we'll push this snow out of the Fargo area. You think that can happen? Well, it might be worth a try. Tune up your snowblower today. Okay, I think that's it. So we've looked at the models now. Here's the American model that we were looking at. It does show this narrow band, Sisseton Hills, right up into the FM area, northwest Minnesota getting some. I like this model too because it is being very consistent from run to run, and it's saying most of the impacts will be in the northern half of North Dakota, mainly north of Interstate 94. Nuisance snow with a trace to 3 inches. So let's boil this down. I think we have a awesome chance at seeing some significant snowfall here in the northern plains. I'm opening a model to show you isobars with this system, but I think I'll have to go to I'll look at one of these higher resolution models. So let's go to this one, and I want to zoom into just the northern plains with this particular storm system here. So let's go to a regional look at the northern plains. This site is very cool. It's fun if you're a meteorologist and you like looking at isobars, because isobars can help us see where the wind and the snow will happen at the same time. And that's what makes a winter event more impactful because we have wind-driven snow potential. The strongest winds are where the isobars are closest, and we see that across North Dakota as we go through our Tuesday. That's where the snow starts first, Tuesday morning, could last for quite some time. Now, the European model definitely shows that that snow potential will work its way off to the east and north as we go through the day. And look at the winds here with this batch of moderate snow maybe that pushes through the southern valley. Okay, so more prolonged snow, western, central, and northern parts of North Dakota and northwest Minnesota. More brief shots of snow possible here in the south according to this model, but it could come with some wind. Could the wind be enough to create a blizzard? Some of you have asked that. The answer, in short, is yes. Where it would be where the isobars are too tight, but it's way, way too early to sit here 3 days in advance because we're talking about main impacts Tuesday and into Wednesday. Okay, Tuesday into Wednesday. We're still several days away. So I do think that we cannot rule out the potential that a few counties could see blizzard-like conditions or whiteout type conditions, to reserve the word blizzard for only the worst of storms. But look at this system really weakening as we go into Wednesday night. This is Wednesday night in the evening around dinner time, and then it's out of here with the wind, and in comes the cold air. So Hutch's other hunch is the fact that we're going to have to be dealing with some mighty cold temperatures. Let's get down to brass tacks right here, right now, and let's talk a little bit about our forecast as we go into the next few days. Now, I think I would like to, let me see, what's this? Oh, that's that. Okay, pardon me. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what we have going on with regards to our forecast. We're going to look at the 7-day planner first, and then we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about Hutch's hunch on this. Now, two things to keep in mind on the 7-day planner is this. Tomorrow is going to be the warmest day of the next numerous days. 50s. Get out and enjoy. We'll have 53 degrees in Fargo. Will there be AM fog? I can't rule it out. Now, as we go through, look at this. Falling temperatures on your Tuesday throughout the day. That's the storm system developing. So we'll be steady here in Fargo. Some places in Minnesota will see temperatures rise. But in Fargo, steady. Falling temperatures in western parts of our viewing area in central North Dakota. Then we'll have temperatures. They'll be steady throughout the day on Wednesday, but cold. Anyone that gets significant snow, pay attention to this. You're not seeing this a lot, but this is Hutch's hunch, and this is why I don't mind going way far off what the models are forecasting, because where we get the heavier snow bands, we're going to be near zero. Some of you may indeed go below zero. And I do have my Hutch's bottom line here. Let me have you focus on that. There's a potential for the winter storm as we go from Tuesday into Wednesday, with it exiting after that. And then we're talking about Thanksgiving having some unsettled weather right through there. And we could be talking about our first Arctic blast chance as a cold high pressure system moves out of parts of Western Canada and into our area. So that's what I'm watching with regards to that forecast as we go through. Now, let me see if there's any other questions. Got you on YouTube now. Avs Hockey Man. Hey, good to see you on there. Mike from Fargo, good to see you. I'm a big Avs fan as well. And hopefully they're having fun. I know that Wild are off to a fantastic start to their hockey season too. Sharing from East Grand Forks, thank you very much. As we take a look at that radar one more time nationally, we do have a storm system that's working its way out of the southern plains, heading right here into the northern plains. We also have some snowy weather that's developing right now that will impact the Pacific Northwest as we go through the next 24 to 48 hours. Y'all are the very best. I'm going to call that a broadcast for now. Look for updates first thing in the morning. I'll also put some shorter version updates if you don't like Hutch's long-winded explanations of everything. You can find all of that on hutchesweather.com in the coming moments. But anytime you need to see the weather, I highly recommend heading on over to hutchesweather.com. First of all, it's made possible by my friendly sponsors that you see at the top of the page. So please support those businesses when you can, because it helps support bringing Hutch to you. Your interactive radar shows you not much going on in our neck of the woods now. Here's the big storm system with snow in the mountains of New Mexico. That's the lighter blue shades. Heavy rain with thunderstorms making its way towards Amarillo to Lubbock right now. Oklahoma also seeing some heavy rain showers. And again, not only can you track the weather, it's where you can upload photos. I've had some dandies from this weekend. So you click on the photo button here, you can peruse the photos that other users have uploaded. And if you have weather from your part of the nation, share it on Hutch's weather page right here. It would be fun. But not only that, I've got some dandies out there that you uploaded this weekend. So let me take you to that right now. And I want to give thanks to those of you who took the time to upload these photos. Look at this amazing view on the lakes today. If you were out in lakes country in Minnesota, are you kidding me? Look at that, Lisa. Thank you so very much. Pine Lake, a beautiful sunset out there. Look at the glassy water. Once the wind died down, it was just a magnificent day. Now, I saw some of these clouds before. People asking, how did these form? Jamie, thank you very, very much. See the lumpy bumpies here? Sometimes we get a deck of clouds that's very solid. That's called a stratus deck of clouds. And when those start spreading out and breaking up, thanks to some upper level winds, we can start seeing breaking up into little cumulus type or looking clouds. So that's what's going on here. And boy, is it mingling with that setting sun, the sun below the horizon, giving us those orange colors. And that's magnificent. Thanks for sharing your Wales, North Dakota shot. And you know what? Wildlife shots are awesome as well, because this little squirrel here, he knows something that Hutch may not know. And that's, it's time to get those nuts prepared and, you know, pack a few away and be ready for what's ahead. Lemoore, North Dakota, thank you for sharing the fluffy squirrel shot there. I love that. I appreciate it very much. And look at this. Tony up in Rolla said the first snowfall of the season has fallen up there. And you know what? You are in that zone with regards to the system that begins on Tuesday, where you could see some very significant snow in your neck of the woods. So thanks to all of you for uploading your photos to hutchesweather.com. You're the very best. Have a wonderful Sunday night. Enjoy the rest of the game, and make sure you check back frequently. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks for your comments, kind words, willingness to support, and pass the good word that Hutch is here with your weather when you need it and where you need it. Have a wonderful